For years, Texas Radio Hall of Fame board member Mike Shannon lobbied for an award for Journeyman Broadcaster. While that never happened, there is one inductee this year who should have bought stock in U-Haul, and it's Bill LeGrand. Bill has not only seen it all, he's done it all. On the air, sales, engineering, even general manager, and in some very memorable markets like Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Bay City, Austin, and even wonderful Waco. 59 years in the business, and just a few months ago called his career good. Along the way, he was a board member of the TAB. He founded ROSA, the radio organization of San Antonio, and became the darling of groups like Clear Channel, Paxson, Capstar, and especially Westinghouse by being an early adapter to computer technology and showing radio groups how computer analytics were a powerful tool for sellers company-wide. It's important to note that even though we chose to go with a single narrator for our event this year, there were quite a few personalities and people of note in the biz that were waiting in line to say good things on his behalf. Luckily, he's here to say them for himself. Bill LeGrand, a 2020 inductee of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much and good evening. A while back, I started branding myself as the old radio guy for obvious reasons, and I'm here tonight, got my old radio guy tie on, my favorite old radio, this 1930s era Zenith, and I have two things in common. First of all, we're both really old, and second of all, we pretty much still work in radio. When I first heard about this induction, I looked at the list of previous inductees, and it was a bit intimidating to say the least. I told my wife that I'm not sure I belong in the same room with these folks, and sure enough, here it is, induction night, and I'm not in the same room with them. These are legends in the business, people that I've known about, respected, listened to, admired. Some of them I've worked with. I've hired a couple of them along the way, been hired by a couple of more, and on occasion was even fired by a couple of them. It wasn't personal, it's just the nature of the business. Because when you're making your number, everything's okay, and when you're not making your number, nothing you do is okay. So the best thing to do, I was told, was just keep your head down and sell spots, and I've sold a bunch of them. I'd like to thank everyone who voted for me. I'd like to thank my daughter Becky in particular, who nominated me and then worked really hard to make this happen for me. My family, my wife Vi of 53 years, who stuck with me through a lot of ups and downs and packing and unpacking. My new wife and life partner, Marty, whose love and support have made it possible for me to continue to work in this great business for the past few years. Both my great kids, Bill and Becky, and all of the friends and mentors and co-workers that I've met and worked with along the way. And finally, I'd like to thank God and the great state of Texas. God for giving me this mixed blessing of this horrible disease that started eroding my vision when I was just a teenage kid. And the great state of Texas for recognizing the problem and stepping up and providing me with the training and education that opened the door of opportunity to this wonderful business I call radio. And finally, I'd like to thank heavens that I don't have to be at the mercy of Arbitron any longer. In the words of Ben Johnson at the 1973 Oscars acceptance speech, thank you very much. Couldn't happen to a nicer feller.